Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charles Sabanson, and welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show. We cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And folks, we got a show that's quite surprising to me. I was surprised when I saw this story that I think a lot of you guys are going to find surprising as well. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and sub to the channel. So yesterday, we did a live reacting to that game between the Knicks and the Pacers. Let me tell y'all this. That was probably the best game I've seen these playoffs. That was certainly one of the best playoff games I've seen in a very long time. You got to go all the way back to games like between the Detroit Pistons and the Indiana Pacers with Reggie Miller, who was calling the game, Chauncey Billups, Ben Wallace, Tayshaun. Like, you got to go back to those games. Like, this was an incredible game. An incredible game, and I was thoroughly entertained. Even after we did a live show reacting to the game, even though there were a lot of Knicks fans watching the live, a lot of them had to concede, bro, that was a hell of a game. So with games like that and some of the games that we've seen in the playoffs, I thought that we were doing very, very well. I'm like, okay, well, the NBA is doing very well. They don't need some of their flagship names like LeBron or KD or Stephen Curry or the Warriors or the Lakers. I thought we were doing good. Until I woke up this morning and came across a report here from Awful Announcing with the following headline saying, Western Conference Finals Game 1 ratings see significant drop. Game 1 of the NBA Western Conference Finals flopped in ratings. And I was like, what? What is going on here? Well, this is the report that we want to get into. But before we even get into what this report had to say, today's video is brought to you by our sponsor, PrizePicks. PrizePicks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports with over 10 million members. PrizePicks makes it easy to get real money action on the sports and players you love. You pick more or less on at least 2 for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. For example, this week on PrizePicks, I'm looking at the upcoming NBA schedule and selecting Stephen Curry for more than 29 points and Kevin Durant for more than 27 points and Anthony Davis for more than 12 rebounds and Luka Doncic for more than 8 assists. If you're like me and you like to play it safe, you'll love PrizePicks' new feature, Flex Plays. It's the safest way to play. You can still cash out even if your lineup isn't perfect. Plus, you can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. On top of this, PrizePicks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money as quick as in 15 minutes. So download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code CLNS on PrizePicks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. And remember, whenever you support this sponsor, you're supporting this channel. Thank you. Okay, so let's read this quickly. So it says, Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals between the Minnesota Timberwolves and Oklahoma City Thunder did not produce the viewership totals that ESPN likely hoped for. John Lewis of Sports Media Watch reported the numbers on Wednesday. It's a significant drop from not just last year, but several recent seasons. Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals flopped in ratings. Tuesday's Timberwolves Thunder NBA Western Conference Final game 1, averaged 5.36 million viewers across ESPN and ESPN2, marking the least watched conference finals opener since the Clippers Suns on ABC in 2021, which aired a month out of the schedule of Father's Day. Oklahoma City's blowout win declined 24% from last year's Mavericks Timberwolves Game 1 on TNT. The report also noted, compared to last year's conference finals on ESPN networks, viewership also fell 17% from Pacers Celtics Game 1 in the Eastern Conference Finals, which brought in 6.44 million viewers. What could cause such a drop? Compared to the 2024 Eastern Conference Finals, neither the Timberwolves nor Thunder has the following that the Boston Celtics have. As far as the Western Conference Finals are concerned, the Minnesota Timberwolves were in 2024's as well. So the primary difference are the networks covering the series and the Thunder in place of the Dallas Mavericks. Losing established stars like Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving is significant. Oklahoma City is also a smaller market than Dallas, but this isn't just compared to last year. It was also the least watched conference finals game of any kind since Hawks-Bucks Game 5 in that same 2021 season, which aired in July. It then continued on. Going back to 2013, we find a lot of conference finals games that featured established needle movers like LeBron James, Stephen Curry, and Kevin Durant, none of whom remain in the postseason in 2025. It is not as though the Western Conference Finals lack star power. While it's a title he doesn't care to have, Anthony Edwards has been talked about as the next face of the league. The Thunder, of course, were a 68-win juggernaut in the regular season and have the MVP, the NBA MVP in SGA. Both players, though, are still in the relatively early parts of their careers. Folks, this is devastating, right? This is devastating. I'm going to tell you why. And I'm going to tell you why we mentioned Michael Jordan in the title. And we're like, they need to find the next Michael Jordan. The fact of the matter is this. No one moved the needle more than MJ. If you just recollect back to what I just read moments ago in the article, they mentioned LeBron, Steph, KD, and all of that. They're talking about an amalgamation of talent and stars. Jordan, by himself, was the star. Another thing worth pointing out, they spoke about the small markets, and although Chicago isn't a small market, prior to Jordan's arrival in Chicago, they were an absolute mess of a franchise. Jordan and the Bulls and the leadership and all of that, they turned that team into a sports dynasty. They did. Now they have the Cubs and all of that stuff, but you get what I'm saying. So yes, a market plays a role, but I think the star power of a star, this transcendent, can lift any market. I mean, for goodness sakes, LeBron played in Cleveland, for God's sakes. Right? And I get the fact that the Celtics, the Lakers, all of these guys have a following. But the fact of the matter is they need to find the next MJ. And for all of the comparisons that we've been getting, oh, Anthony Edwards reminds you of Michael Jordan. He's Michael Jordan coming. He's going to be the next Michael. Well, we're not seeing it in any way, shape, or form. In any way, shape, or form. Jordan, around this time in his career, was averaging 36 in the playoffs for the entire playoffs in 25 games. While shooting 53%, averaging like 7-8 rebounds a game or whatever it was. That's what Jordan was doing. So this thing of, oh, he reminds you, it's not resonating. Now, I think the other problem is the problem the NBA has done. Because all throughout the season, they haven't marketed their other stars. They spend the entire season marketing players like LeBron, KD, Stephen, the guys, the usual suspects. So what do you expect to happen when this time of the year comes around, when it's time to market, or when it's time to pull in fans, and you now want them to tune in to people you haven't spoke about the entire season? Go look at the sports media landscape. They didn't talk about them. They didn't talk about them. Even us, we didn't talk about them. Why? Because those other guys move the needle. Because if the big media focuses on them a lot, that's where all the attention goes. And you can't say, oh, well, Dreamers Pro, why did you? Yeah, because Dreamers Pro going to be the one to move the needle to get millions and millions of viewers to tune in, right? To get 7-8 million viewers to turn in to watch an Oklahoma City versus Minnesota Timberwolves game, right? That's what we're going to do, right? Because we have television networks and all of that stuff, right? Let's be for real. So that's also playing a role. But I think the larger issue here, they haven't found their next Jordan, and they need to find him soon. These are my thoughts. Catch you on the next show, and I'm out. Peace.